No, I still can't hear you. Yes.
Okay. 1 sec. For some reason, it seems like I can't hear you now. Let me
What?
see if I. Oh, actually.
I could put headphones on and see if that does anything.
All right. You can hear me.
Can you hear me?
1 sec. Let me see. Let me try to re-enter and then see if that fixes the issue.
Okay. Hello?
Try saying something.
Hello? Hello?
Oh yeah. You're good now. You're good now.
Okay,
Okay.
good. Thank
Yeah. This is my first time. Well, my second time working with this Google thing, so I'm still getting used to it a little bit.
No
Thanks
worries.
for joining. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it.
Of
How are you?
course.
How do you feel, Georgie?
Well, I feel good, but I changed my name.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Even, but your Instagram is still Georgie.
I know because I've been changing my name for like 2 years back and forth between Georgie and Bangs. And then I was going to have two projects. And I've always just wanted to be Bangs, but I was Georgie, then Bangs because I had two sounds. And now I found one sound that I like. And I've just been in artist development. And yeah, so I don't want to change my name to Bangs on Instagram again
Uh-huh.
because I already created a separate Bangs account. And I feel like that's just so like, this bitch doesn't know what she's doing, but I do. I just now that I'm not listening to anybody, I'm like, I just want to be Bangs and just
Uh-huh.
Bangs.
Yeah, I saw you change bangs right when I messaged you, and I was surprised. I was like, this seems completely new. I've never
Yeah,
seen it before.
it's just well, that's good because maybe people don't like pay attention so much, which is good because like I don't want them to when I'm figuring everything out. But
Uh-huh.
um, yeah, I changed it just on like my name, but I didn't change my like username because
Uh-huh.
I kind of want to like yeah, we'll dive into it.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Well, I'm gonna introduce you. So, welcome to the Nightlife podcast episode. This is episode number 2, and you were the first one actually to respond to my message. So you're technically number 1. So, welcome to the Nightlife podcast, everyone. This is Bangs, the one and only. She is the best house DJ in New York City. And basically, we're gonna get to know you and your history, and how you became who you are today. So I heard that I saw you in the DJ booth yesterday, recording some good stuff, and I saw you're performing at Nebula this week with Cat Dealers. So you must be really excited about that. That must be big for you.
Yeah, it'll be fun. They've always treated me very well. Like at that club, I feel like since I started DJing, they've always put me on. So yeah, it'll be fun.
Sure. So, all right, let's get started. So, how did you get started as a DJ, and what drew you personally to the nightlife industry?
I got started as a DJ because it was during COVID. I was making music with my friends and um I kind of have this joke where I feel like DJing like chased me down because I never wanted to be a DJ. I just always wanted to perform and like express myself and I never knew it was going to be through DJing. Um when I was like a kid, I was always like in like family bands and stuff. And then in middle school, I was always in like bands with my friends. And when I kind of reached COVID, I just like took a step back from like all of the stuff I was doing like with school and like, life. And everything. And I kind of ended up getting offered a DJ gig. So I was like, fuck it. Yeah. Like I was like making electronic music. So I was like, yeah, like maybe I could DJ. I don't know.
So you got that first gig back in COVID,
Yeah. Yeah.
and how did that happen? What's the story behind that?
Yeah, it's a funny story. I was actually at my friend's birthday party and um drinking with my friends, and one of the songs I made was being played. And these people thought I was a DJ, these like twin brothers that are DJs. They thought I was a DJ. So they were like, "Oh my God, you should like open for us. Like we're doing this day party in Brooklyn. Like how long have you been DJing for?" And I kind of just lied. I was like, "Oh my God, I'd love to. Yeah, I've been DJing for a little while. Never have DJed ever in my life, like
Oh
ever,
my,
ever." Um, then the next morning I woke up and I was like, "Oh my God," like sometimes when I'm like drunk, I feel like I can just like say anything. And I was like, "Oh my God, like what did I say to these people?" And then he sent me the fucking flyer and I was like, oh fuck. And but
uh-huh.
like there was something in me that was like, just do it. And I'm like, it's funny because I'm like, if I didn't do that, like I don't know where I'd be right now, but I did it and I went to Guitar Center and I bought the equipment and I learned, and I had a friend that DJ'd, and I mean, just like fucked around. It's really not that hard. I think it's more of just being able to know basic music theory and like being able to have a good sound selection and be empathetic to some extent. So yeah.
So did you know music before? Like, have you been playing instruments before? Because you did say you were a performer since you were young. Um, because it sounds like you kind of had a little bit of music background before you got into being a DJ.
I actually didn't. I only sang and I wrote songs. But as like a songwriter, I write lyrics and melodies, and I never knew how to play any instruments. I just knew like I could always write songs without an instrument. Like I could just like, walk down the street and like write a song. And like when I was little, me and my like friends who were like in bands and stuff, like I never played the instruments. I always just sang. And a lot of times we did cover shit. And then when I was really young, like 5 or 6, I just was in like little, like, this isn't like real, just like me and my cousin, like performing in front of like my family and like friends and
Uh-huh.
stuff. It was always just like acapellas. And I don't know, it was just always kind of engraved in me to write songs. But I never, I'm not a technical person. So it was really like kind of a weird adjustment at first when I started DJing because I really didn't know a lot, but I just, yeah, I think I'm really intuitive. Like it's not like there are some producers out there who are really technical and they like technically know everything. And there are other people who just like play shit by ear. And I feel like it's like, there's no right or wrong way. I think it's just like
Uh-huh.
each to their own. Yeah.
Uh-huh. So you've been singing since you've been like 5 then.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've been like literally singing since I could like remember like my earliest memories.
Were you ever singing like on stage, like maybe not professionally, but like even for like school stuff
I
or
did
like,
talent shows. I
local
did
shows?
100%. I did all of that. I was always on stage when I was younger. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think it
And
like, go ahead.
no, I'll continue.
I think it like stopped when I reached like high school.
It stopped. Why did it stop in high school? I thought it would like you would go more in the music direction at that time.
You would think. No, I got really detached from myself as a person in high school. I was always kind of like a little bit, I feel like being like I'm an outsider sounds stupid, but like I always felt like an outsider. I never like really vibed with a lot of people. I think I never really found my circle. And then in high school, I got like transferred to a different school, and the school was like super preppy and like very like everyone was really really rich, and like I got a scholarship to go there, and I felt like I really wanted to just like fit in and finally have like a friend group and finally have people that like accepted me. So I like literally like completely disregarded myself and everything I liked and just like tried to like join the tennis team and like try to like like basically like be the tennis team actually has like nothing to do with anything, but like basically
Uh-huh.
like try to like be like everybody else. Like I was always like I used to always embrace kind of being myself, and then like it wasn't until I just had like really bad social anxiety and I got to a new school, and the first school I went to, I like didn't have a lot of friends, and I was like, okay, like I'm doing something wrong here. I need to like really try to fit in with these people. And that's obviously when you try to not be yourself, you're not going to do things that you love.
Uh-huh. So where did you go to school? You didn't go to school in New York?
I went to school in Rhode Island.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm guessing it's a very small world over there.
Oh my God, it's so small. And like everybody's parents went to the school I went to. It was like so fucking weird. Like it was like a cult.
Uh-huh. So when did you come to New York?
I came to New York in 2017. Yeah, 2017.
What were you doing back then?
I moved here to go to college. I went to like a small like business school. My mom is a single mom, and like none of my sisters went to college. We're all like kind of creatives in some way. And my mom was just like literally like, please go to college. And I always knew like I was with this weird vision in my head that I would like go to college and then like do something else. Like I always like knew I was never gonna finish, and I actually dropped out. But I thought I was gonna at least get a little further and then maybe do something else. But I didn't even know what I was going to do.
How long were you in college for before you dropped out?
I was in college for 2 years, 2.5 years, maybe 3. Oh my God. I think I was like almost finished. And then I went to an acting conservatory because I was like, oh, like I remember when I was like, I just want to perform. And like I got into this like really hard to get into acting school. So I thought it was like a sign. And I was like, oh my God, it's a sign. This is my destiny.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. No, that's really cool. Cause you were saying this one thing before the acting school part. Or was
um
it
I was
right
saying that
before the acting school?
where it was called Lee Strasberg.
No, no, before the acting school you mentioned something.
The business school?
So you went to the business school and then you went to the acting school.
Yeah. I dropped out of the business school and the acting school.
Okay, okay. Oh, and now I remember. You said you went to college for 2.5 years, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I give you props because I only went to college for a year, and then I was like, I just can't do this anymore.
What did you
So
study?
I studied computer science out in Stony Brook.
Okay,
So
cool.
yeah, like when you said like, oh, you knew you were never about it, I really empathize with that because it's like you kind of figure out within the first 2 weeks that oh, you're not about it, but you kind of like force yourself to be about it.
Yeah.
And it's like for some people, like people that I know, they want to do the college thing for the paper, but they can tell that they hate it, and it's like I don't want to say drop out, but I feel like dropping out really is the answer because you get to spend that time doing what's really important for you.
Yeah, especially if you know you're never going to use your degree. Why waste all your money in college?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you left college, I'm guessing you were just excited to start something performative.
Oh yeah. I was like, I will perform in any fucking way possible. And I was also like always still writing songs. Like I think I wrote like 2,000 songs in like 2019 or 2020. Like I was just writing so many songs. And like it was weird because I like still didn't pursue music after college.
Uh-huh.
After like I dropped out, I pursued acting instead. And it was weird. I had this like resistance against music. I was like, this is like what I think I was like, oh my God, I love this so much. It would be so scary to dive into this. Like because like it seems so confusing, and like I was like I feel like acting, which is also so risky, but like it's crazy what our minds can tell us. It just felt a little bit safer, and I think I was just insecure, like trying to take safe paths, and then eventually you take so many safe paths and you're miserable, and then you literally take the riskiest path of all.
Yeah, no, I definitely empathize with that. That's 100% facts.
Yeah.
I actually pursued acting when I was really, really young.
Uh-huh.
But I figured same thing that you said. It's very risky. So I also ended up trying to do, like more of the like try to get a job path.
Yep.
But then like after college, you're just like, nah, screw this. It's like, let's go all in, you know?
It's weird. Like once you reach the age of like 22, I feel like, or 23, I don't even want to put an age on it. I'm 24 now, but like I think like once you reach like the like your like early 20s, like, and you've kind of put yourself in all these safe paths, like you kind of have this like feeling of like, all right, I'm like in my early 20s, my 20s aren't gonna last forever. I think like, and you could do this at any age. I think it's just like it hits you and you're like, oh my God, like, do I want to like, do I really want to like do this thing that I don't like forever? And then you're like, okay, well, now's the time to try to make something happen, you know?
So what was that moment for you where you were just like, I can't do this anymore, and I have to follow what I really want to do?
It's a really good question. I had some weird fucking moments. I was praying one night and I was just really stressed. I was like, damn, like, I feel like I'm a failure. Like, I feel like I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Like, I'm so confused. And I was like, just trying to like pray and like journal and stuff. And I literally got a DM on Instagram from this random dude. And he was like, hey, like, I just saw like what you like your Instagram. And like, he was like, it was so weird. He was like, I feel like you should like stream on Twitch. Like, you seem like you have a great personality and like you could be doing more with your life. And I was like, I could be offended by this, or I could be like, tell me more. So it happened like right after I prayed. It was really weird. And like we like got a video chat on Instagram, me and this random guy. And he was just like, what do you want to do with your life? And I was like, I want to make music. And he's like, then why aren't you? And I was like, and this was like when I was still in the acting school. Like I said, I want to make music. I think I was like, I want to make music, but I'm also like acting or something. And he was like, it really seems like you know what you want to do, and you're just like doing all like a bunch of random shit. And I was like, it seems so confusing. And he was like, if I remember this guy literally said to me, he was like, if you want something to be your life, then just make it your life. Like, what does the person you look up to do every day? And if you're not doing that, then that's like, then you are not that. And I was like, holy fuck. And it was so weird. It was that. And then like that random, you know, offering of a gig I had. And it was all in the same timeline. And I was kind of just like, I had this moment. I think it was like that moment. And then when I played my first show, I remember feeling so free and excited. And it was like, wait a second, this could be possible. Like this actually could be my life if I make it my life. Like I could choose to move in this direction. I didn't know anybody. Like I didn't know anybody in like electronic realm of nightlife. I really didn't. I used to like go to like different types of clubs that I would never play at. So like I just like didn't really know anybody and I didn't like know what to do. But I just like was like, fuck it.
So what was okay? So basically, after that conversation with that guy, you were like, okay, I want to pursue music.
Yeah.
And what was that process like figuring that out? I'm well, I guess you said the first official thing was when your friend recommended you to DJ at his birthday party, right?
It wasn't his birthday party. I met him at a birthday party. It was at like a day party. It was like a legitimate like day party in Brooklyn, like kind of place.
Okay. Where was this in Brooklyn?
It's called Mika. I don't know
Mika.
if you've ever heard of it. To be honest, I don't even remember where it was. I feel like it's all a blur now. Let me look it up.
Do
Mika.
they, yeah, I was gonna ask if they still exist.
Yeah, because it's like naughty. It's okay. Let's see. It's 25 Thames Street in Brooklyn. It's not even like it's more of like a restaurant with a really cute outdoor section that they just kind of made into a club for the day.
Okay.
Which is
That's
funny.
actually really cool.
I've never done anything like that since.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so
Restaurant gigs are like really cute, you know. Yeah, it's more like local.
yeah, it wasn't even in the restaurant. It was like outside, and there was like bottle service. It was just like it was a restaurant, and they were like, "We want to host something in our outdoor area."
Okay, and this was the summertime, I'm guessing.
It was in Bushwick.
That must have been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was really freeing, and I was like surprised so many people like showed up. Like a lot of people showed up, and I think like I had like 50 people come for me, and I was like, "Why are you guys all here? Thanks."
What did they say?
Everyone was like, "Oh my God, how is this your first set?" And now I'm looking back and I'm like, no, I definitely was like playing like shit I wouldn't necessarily play and like mixing weird songs into each other. But like, I mean, I'm happy if they were nice.
Uh-huh. So were you playing house back then, or?
Yeah, I've always been playing house, but I don't make any house music. I just play house because it's like it's a good opportunity to get myself out there. I also don't really listen to house either. It's really weird.
Wait, so what music do you listen to?
I listen to like dark wave and indie and synth wave and like electronic rock and like techno.
So why don't you make that type of stuff?
I am. I am making it. I'm just not, I haven't released it yet. It's been like a process of like basically getting my sound together. I think I didn't know my sound and I made like my first song I made was Tech House. But I knew it was like I was like, this is like a fun party song, but I knew I could write not like, and I don't mean to disregard any artists that make that music because there's like that could to for me that feeling I get from this other music could be their feeling when they make that music. So it's not to disregard anybody or say anything's better than anything. It's just I think I thought of it as like, oh, this is fun. Like I like I like making this music because it's it's like a fun, like, play in the car with my friends and like it's like a release. But I'm much more emotional of a person than that. So I started like writing all the emotional songs that I write. Couldn't really work on those kind of beats anymore. So it was a slow progression. It wasn't like I was making this kind of music while I was playing house. I was actually like fucking around with house. And then I just realized that my music started to change.
Okay. So what made you choose house in the beginning?
I think I resonated. I really liked Solomon a lot. I remember I used to like watch his sets and just like dance in my room for hours. And I was like, he's God. I really liked Solomon. I still like Solomon, but I think at the time, I was just into more of that sound. And I think now, after playing it for a couple of years, I've recognized that I'm kind of like evolving a little bit as an artist into something else.
Okay. And so when you started, that was like you would say 2020 is the
I
time when
started in 2021, like end of COVID.
okay.
So I've been playing for like a year and almost 2 years. Like I've been playing for like I like literally May 22nd of this year will be my 2 year mark.
So that's kind of recent.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I guess so, right?
Uh-huh. So okay, when you prepare for a gig, I know that you sing too. So what kind of equipment would you need for that?
I just CDJ is a mixer. I use the 900 and either the V10 and then CDJ, whatever CDJs they have. And then just a mic. Yeah, no, nothing crazy.
Uh-huh. Would you say your favorite part of you performing is when you sing?
Yeah,
What's
definitely.
what's that experience like for you?
Um, it's very, huh, it's freeing, but it's not like, I think what would be the most freeing is if I could like run around and like really perform, like bodily perform. And I think sometimes I can't do that because I'm mixing.
Uh-huh.
um, but I think like just in general, like singing words that I wrote to people and having them resonate is very like just freeing and like exciting.
Since you have 2000 songs, why not, record like some of those and then
I
use them?
They're written. They're not produced. They're just like voice memos. It's not like I have 2000 like polished songs, but I do have like 20 songs that will be coming out soon. I have a lot. I have an archive, but I have to release a song every month and a half. If I just drop them all, it'd be like overwhelming and like they wouldn't get the attention they deserve. So that's why I've been dropping songs like Paralyzed came out 2 weeks ago. Wild and Young came out on Valentine's Day. But whoa, did my thing just zoom in on me?
I think it might have.
That's so weird. Why didn't it do that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Google has like, I don't know, this camera effect.
Yeah, but I just, I think people don't understand and don't talk enough about finding your sound as an artist can be a very long journey because it's the sound you're going to play for fucking ever. Like, say I'm making a song and I have drums and I'm either going four on the floor or I'm going halftime. If I go four on the floor, then I'm in the DJ realm. If I just simply decide to go halftime, it kind of knocks me slightly out of the DJ realm. It could still keep me in the DJ realm. But say I go halftime, and then I use live drums instead of electronic drums. Now I'm fully in the rock world, and I'm not even in the electronic world at all anymore. And it's like these like little choices that make really big impacts that you kind of have to decide. And when I was finding my sound, I'm still in the process, but I'm much closer. It was confusing because I was like, all my songs were starting to sound different from each other, and like, I didn't really know where I fit in.
Can you describe that process for me?
Yeah, it's a lot of going through different sounds and figuring out which one makes you feel the most without letting your ego get in the way. It's really easy to make a cool song that's not even like fully you because it's just like a cool vibe versus something that's like 1,000,000,000% you and cool too. It's like also good is the enemy of great. That's what my mentor told me. So it's like you can make a lot of good songs and people are like, yo, your song's so good. And you're like, oh my God, I'm killing it. But then like you recognize that like maybe I'm doing something wrong if all my songs are just like good. Maybe like I'm not fully hitting the nail on the head. Maybe there's something that I'm missing with my production or with my songwriting that I'm not fully letting myself go there for some reason.
Can you dig a little bit deeper on the good versus great part?
Yeah. I think that the difference between good and great is good is something a lot of people could make. And good is something that sounds a lot like everybody else. It has a perfect little spot where it fits in the world and fits on the playlist and it fits in the genre. And I think great is something that is 1,000,000% intuitively you. And there's not one thing you would change about the song. And you feel it. Like it makes you don't think, that sounds cool. That's a thought. You just feel like, oh my God, that feels so good. I can't stop listening to it.
And what do you feel like is the obstacle for that great?
Ego and outside noise. I think a major problem is there's a formula that a lot of artists can take, especially in the DJ realm. It's pretty much just produce music that sounds similar to a label that you can get on and get on their lineups. And there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like when I say that, something that sounds like I'm like judging that. It's more of just like, it's not my path, so it feels like it doesn't resonate with me at all. But like that people have a lot of success doing that, and also people create their own sounds within other people's labels all the time. But I think like a major obstacle for really being great is like the formula that people feel like they have to follow, and the fear of like, if I don't follow this formula, like what do I do? Like I don't know what people are going to think or resonate with. It's almost like not giving a fuck. I think the formula is really just not giving a fuck and just making music that you feel so much like someone else is going to have to feel it too. And it's just like the most like to be a feeling, and it doesn't have to be emotional music. It could be a fucking banger for the dance floor. Like,
Quick thing, your video broke up.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Now I can hear you. Yeah, your camera was breaking up earlier, but now you're good. The last thing I heard was that you were talking about the formula, about how you like, and you were just like describing what that process looked like for you.
Yeah, I think the to get be great is to not follow the formula. Is to basically be like, this music feels so good and I fucking love it. And I don't give a fuck where I fit in with this music because I'm so confident that somebody else is gonna fuck with it. And I fucking love it.
Okay, okay, but how do you get yourself to that state? Because don't like to be able. You said earlier that you post a song every month. That's kind of a lot. That's a lot of like output, and you're very consistent with it. How are you able to like get yourself to that state at a consistent level to be able to always put out emotional work?
Um, It's a lot of demos. It's a lot of hearing something that you thought was amazing, and then you hear it like 5 more times, and you're like, wait, that drop's kind of like not as good as I thought it was, or like that's missing like that's missing something. It's always like it feels like it's missing something. If you hear a song and you feel like it's missing something, or there's something you would change about it, then it's not there yet. I think getting myself to that place is like being genuine with myself and not bullshitting, not being in denial. Like it's so easy to just be like, oh my God, this is so fucking cool. And maybe it is, but it could be cooler most of the time, especially if you're a new artist. And it's like, okay, like sometimes I'll even just like, I've worked in the studio with producers and we'll just like play my song. And then we'll play a song that's not even in the same genre because we don't want to like subconsciously like copy it or anything, because that can happen if you like listen to a lot of references. And you know, I don't really love references, but we'll just play a song in a different like vibe. Maybe it gives us the same emotion, and we're just like, that felt better. That song felt a lot better than the song. Like maybe we should kind of rethink the direction. You just have to like be okay with changing things, like changing courses, changing drops, like changing words, like changing melodies. Like maybe the melody isn't as strong. Maybe I get a new melody and I'm like, I can't be married to the music, basically.
Okay, okay. And you just feel whatever the music tells you? Or is it more of like, you have like a sculpture and you're just like molding the sculpture based on what you hear of your own track?
Um, I think the sculpture is true, but the sculpture is dangerous because the sculpture is where you start to overthink it versus feel it. I say feel everything. My friend, he's the lead singer of Third Eye Blind, and he helped me write one of my choruses. And he was like, Georgie, no one gives a fuck what a song's about. People only care if they feel something. And that stuck with me forever. Like forever. Like I was like, holy shit, that's so true. Like I love songs that are in like different languages and like I don't even fucking know what they're saying, but they're fucking dope.
That's true. That's true. That's true. That is pretty interesting because I also have heard. Sometimes I listen to music from other languages, and I always
Yeah.
wonder like why. Like I have no idea what they're saying, but that emotion, that passion, does it get draining for you to be able to get yourself there every single day?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's draining because it's like you're in a constant state of confusion because
Uh-huh.
you're like, oh my God, I'm feeling good right now. I love this. But then it's not released into the world. And maybe maybe you're doing something different and then you don't really know exactly where that puts you. And then the ego starts to come in after. The formula starts to formulate when you've done something that doesn't fit the formula. And then it's like trying to battle I don't give a fuck about the formula.
Uh-huh.
So yeah,
Okay.
that's the draining part for me.
So when you were talking about the good versus great, let me know if this resonates at all, because I was watching the podcast with Casey Neistat.
Yeah.
Casey Neistat and the comedian Andrew Schultz.
Yep.
So Casey was talking about how there's a lot of people that make videos just to go viral. And for Casey, he just wanted to make videos that for him was movie art. It wasn't about like being viral. And he was talking about how he felt as a videographer, there were like various insecurities that he had that he would notice that would grow slowly, and that basically he was never in the moment because he was always thinking about what's the best shot, what's the best how can I make this the best video, versus actually being there in the video and creating the art. So I feel like that was kind of similar, a little bit similar to what you were saying about how, you can make music that other people like because you know that it's good for whatever technical reason, but it's different from something that comes from your soul. Because he actually made a video from ChatGPT, and the point of the video was that it was an average video, and he said that it lacked soul. And it seems
I
like
love that.
when you
Yeah.
when you talk about greatness, it has to come from your soul.
Oh, 100%. I totally agree. I think that I think that to make something with like 500 million streams, there's no way that doesn't have a soul in it. To make something with a million streams, sure, you can make something soulless. But like to make something like iconic, something that will be like timeless, it needs to have your soul in it. And I think that I actually was talking to my friend who he does A&R for Sony and Ultra last night, and he was like, I don't even pay attention to TikTok. And I was like, no fucking way. I feel like that's all you guys care about. And he was like, I don't even care about it at all. And I was like, shut the fuck up. I was like so excited. I was like, no, you don't care about TikTok. Oh my God. But he was like, I care about good music, and I care about if someone has a brand, a vision, and dope fucking records. And yeah, it's better if they have a buzz around them. And if TikTok brings that buzz, great. He's like, but I don't give a fuck if your song's viral on TikTok. Like a 15-second clip of a song doesn't always translate into millions of Spotify streams. And I was like, that's facts.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's very interesting because so I actually work for a company called Daily Motion, and basically they're like European YouTube. And basically one of my coworkers, he went to an agency fair in New York this weekend, and he was talking about how a lot of them were talking about TikTok and LinkedIn. So it's very interesting that you say that the guy that you met said that he doesn't look at LinkedIn.
Wow. Yeah. I think like things have a shelf life. I'm sorry, I'm like getting over a cold. But I think things have a shelf life, and I think TikTok can do wonders for someone's career. I think LinkedIn probably could too, but that doesn't mean it's the case for everybody. And that doesn't mean that everybody who's on there and who's like going viral or has a lot of posts or whatever, is gonna last forever.
That's true. So what do you feel like you use to differentiate yourself as a DJ?
I think I've always kind of mixed a lot of random genres. Like I've always done house and techno, obviously. But I think like even in like 2021 when like techno wasn't really, you couldn't really play techno at the big clubs. Like literally 2 years ago, like you really couldn't. Yeah, no, you really couldn't unless you were like in Brooklyn or like doing like a support set for a techno act. It wouldn't make sense to just play techno. Like people just weren't reciprocating very well. I remember like when I started DJing, if I played something that was a little bit more like minimal, people would be like a little bit like, where are the words? You know, at first. And then I mean, it also depends on where you're DJing, because there are places like that where people just, you know, are like that. But I think that yeah, I think what differentiates my sets is obviously I sing. I don't think a lot of people do that. And I think that I mix a lot of genres, and I think I just keep it really, like if I'm playing a headline set, like I'll keep it really dark. And like I love dark synths, like so much, to the point where it's like I don't want to ever hear or make anything else.
What is it about dark synth that you love so much?
It's nostalgic. It's nostalgic and it's badass at the same time.
Nostalgic and badass.
Yeah.
Does it remind you of like a movie or something, or is it just like a feeling that resonates with you?
People say, because like a lot of synthwave is in soundtracks. Like Kavinsky was in like Drive movie, and like that's just a very small example. A lot of video game music is really fucking cool. But I think
Oh, what's Kavinsky, by the way?
Kavinsky, he has a song Night Call. He's
Okay.
synthwave. He's like a synthwave pioneer. Can I call him a pioneer? I think so, yeah. I mean, I think everyone would say he is, but I think there are people who've been doing it before. But yeah, I don't know. I think it makes me feel that feeling, and sometimes you just can't describe it and you don't know why. It's just like maybe the universe was like, all right, this bitch is supposed to love synthwave, so I can't explain why.
I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. You just go towards whatever you feel at the moment.
Exactly. Like I don't know why some people love, you know, bass house and others, like techno. You know, I don't know. I think we all just gravitate towards whatever we're supposed to.
Yeah, definitely. I'm actually surprised that you said back when you started, clubs weren't playing techno in New
No,
York.
no. I'm Brooklyn, yes, but in the city, absolutely not. I
Okay.
remember I played techno and like marquee for my closing set, and the sound engineer was like literally like stunned. He was like, "Oh my God, that was so fun. No one ever does that here." And I'm like, "What?"
Really? When
Yeah.
that was recent?
No, that was in like 2021.
Okay. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's very recent. Because I always thought, places like somewhere near, they play a lot of techno or that type of music or a lot electronic music.
My vision board. They do, but it's because of the headliners that come in. If you come on a local night, you're not going to be hearing a ton of techno. Now you are, but a couple of years ago, no way. If
Okay.
there's not a techno headliner, no way. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
Can we
I
see
don't know.
your vision board at the end, by the way?
Um, I don't.
You up to up to.
I'm paranoid. I mean, you've kind of been
Uh,
saying it, but I'm paranoid because people say like it can like fuck with the energy if you show a bunch of people. I don't know. I mean, it's there.
no, I have heard that too. I have heard that. I don't know. I feel like the opposite can also be true, where like you put your thing out there and that's you, like, your expression as an artist, like that's your vision as an artist, like we're
Yeah.
at that point in time. And of course it'll change, and that's not a bad thing, that's more of a good thing. It shows how you're like evolving as an artist. So it would be kind of cool to see like a snapshot in time, you
I
know
will tell you something that's on it.
okay.
Um, okay. It says Rockstar DJ and it says synth pop and it says collab, and then there's these two artists that I admire in between the collab thing. I think yeah, I think my vision board just represents like obviously everything that I'm feeling, but I think I don't know, it kind of gives me a clear vision for what I'm doing. Like I look at it and I'm like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Even sometimes I feel like I don't.
What do you feel like your vision is now as a DJ, and how do you feel like that's changed over time?
um, you have really good questions.
Oh shit! Wait, what happened? Yo, all right, guys. Georgie's computer died. She'll be back. She'll be back. That was really good. That was really good. I just wanna. This is this is the credits. I love interviewing these DJs. I was with Johnny last time. I'm with Georgie today. These DJs, they're really interesting. This is one of the reasons why I love interviewing these artists, because everyone has their own like story, their own magic, and it's really interesting. It's really interesting. I'm not an artist myself, uh, but I have to use art in my entrepreneurship life. So seeing artists use their intuition to navigate their work is definitely something that I love listening to. I love hearing those stories. This is a really good story. I'm looking forward to this conversation. Is going to be amazing. I can already feel it. I mean, I already knew. That's why I interviewed Georgie. I already knew it was amazing. I already knew she's really good. I saw her perform at a lot of places, Star Child, Marquee. She performed at my Halloween party as well. incredible. Voice is incredible. Definitely a unique factor to her performance, no doubt about it. That's 100%. That's 200%, as a matter of fact. She's back. Let's do this. Hey, Georgie, welcome back.
Sorry, bad timing for my computer to die.
It's all good. It happens. It happens.
Um, your question was, what was it? What do I want to do and what has changed?
So yeah, yeah. So what's like, yeah, what is your goal as a DJ now? And how has that goal for you, or your vision, you could say, what's your vision as a DJ now, and how has that changed over time?
Good question. Yeah. Um, my vision as a DJ now is to bring this indie synth sound kind of into the realm, like dark wave and synth wave, and mix it with rock a little bit. So I think like rock pop, like I don't know, I think like it's to not even be so concerned about being a DJ. Like I want to play with a band and then break out into a DJ set. Like I think it would be cool to like blend the two worlds a little bit of different genres that I like and blend my performance. But I think like yeah, DJing specifically, I think just like bringing this sound that I really love more into the realm, which because it is electronic based sound. Um, and then it's changed because I think before I was just trying to figure out where I fit in. And I was like, okay, well, I resonate with techno. It has this drony synths, and I was resonating with like different people. But I don't know. I think like now I'm kind of like I don't really care, like what happens as long as I'm being genuine, 100%.
Okay. And how do you go about like finding new tunes?
Um, to be honest, I just like get obsessed with an artist and then go on their radio and like hear their different songs. It's really all I do. I just go on Spotify radios most of the time.
You just go through Spotify radio, see how many new artists you can find, and see what resonates with you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you spend most of your day doing that, or what does your day to day look like?
Yeah, I don't spend most of my day doing that. I'll spend a couple hours a week doing that because I feel like I have such a big library, and even if I just spend a couple hours adding to it, like that's more than enough. My days consist of me at the studio. My weekends consist of me DJing, and then meetings and stuff in between because I'm building my label and I have new management. So, a lot of random songwriting and collabs and long days at the studio and getting ready for shows. Yeah. I think that's a summary of my week.
It's interesting that you're making your new label. How do you do that?
Yeah, it's Bitch House Records, and it came about, and I'm doing it because I felt like my sound, I didn't know what label to even like pitch my songs to. So it's like I'm just make my own label, and like then once I did it, I just did all the legal documentation, um, built a little team. I have like a brand director, a business manager. I used to have a creative director. Now I feel like I'm kind of the creative director. Just like build up a strong team, make pitch decks, get funding. It's honestly like basically running a full-time business.
Uh-huh. Yeah, no, it sounds like you're running a VC company with getting funding and all that.
Oh yeah, I mean investor meetings, like just consistently trying to sell the vision.
How do you find people to invest into the vision?
I mean, I go to events where I know a lot of wealthy people will be there. Like across the street, my roommate's a hospitality star child, and like they were having like a birthday party for the owner, and all his investors were going to be there. I was like, perfect, okay, I'll go. Like just like,
Uh-huh.
and then I just go and meet people, and whoever like I'll talk to them for a couple minutes. If they're an investor, I'll talk to them about music. Maybe they invest in music, maybe they don't. Um, maybe they would, maybe they won't.
Uh-huh.
Just
So
like
yeah, I,
I'm
kn-
gonna have.
I know you hit Star Child every once in a while, You said that Brooklyn, you love performing at Brooklyn. What are your other go-to spots to meet people, play music, vibe out?
Yeah, I really like playing in Miami and LA. I have a show in Vegas this month. I can't say anything about it yet, but I will say
Okay.
it's gonna be sick. It's like not fully confirmed, but it's looking really good. So that's why I don't want to jinx it. But I think it'll be confirmed. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I like playing anywhere. I had a lot of fun at the We Belong Here festival. That was a really fun set. Just like wherever.
Where was that festival? We Belong Here.
Miami.
Okay, okay. So what's the Miami story? How'd you land that one?
My manager, Anthony, he got me that one.
Okay. How do you find a manager, by the way? Because I know a lot of artists can find it challenging to find the right manager for them.
Yeah, it's definitely hard. I found my manager about like a couple weeks into DJing, so I got really lucky. I just met him at a show. I was playing, and he was like, "Do you have a manager?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "Do you want to be your manager?" I was like, "Yeah."
Mhm.
And then he's been my manager ever since.
Where was this? Brooklyn?
No, this was in the Lower East Side. At a random event I was doing.
Was it the Electric Bowery?
No, but I did do a record party there, and it was so fun. That was honestly my favorite show. Like, if people were to be like, "What's your favorite show you've ever done?" I'd probably say that show. Yeah, because everyone just came there for me. Like, even if I play Brooklyn Mirage, it's exciting, but it's like it's not as thrilling if like people, even if like 150 or 20 people, let's go a little bit lower. Like, I mean, if 20 people show up for me, it's exciting. But I think like I did like a guest list. It's always easier with a guest list, but then everyone who showed up were like very loyal, like die hard, like they knew all my music and they wanted a picture and they loved Bitch House. And I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? That's so cool. And to me, that's doper than playing like, I don't know, a festival.
So you really love your fans.
Oh my God, yeah. I have like a small cult following right now, but like I love them to death. And you can like see on Spotify for artists like who playlists your song and how many times they listen to it. And I can like literally see the people who listen to my songs like 50 times. And I'm like, I love you.
That's crazy. How many of them would you say are part of your fan base?
I don't know how many because a lot of them don't live in New York. My local fan base, I don't know how many because no one like it's very unknown. It's more of just like I think I have like a fair amount. I have like I don't know, my songs are on like thousands of playlists that are like independent listeners. So I don't know like who these people like I know like the top ones. I don't know. I don't know how many all of them are. I know that like in New York, I think I have like a small collective of loyal people. And then I have a bigger collective of people who are just like, oh, that's cool.
Okay,
Right.
okay, okay. Did you perform at Brooklyn Mirage before or no?
Yeah, I played there 5 times.
Wow, what was that like?
It was really fun. It was cool. I got like a little trailer and like I did the opening and closing sets for a couple. I did like a 2-day show in a row there over the summer. Then I did a day show there, did a couple closing sets there. I absolutely adore the bookers, Kellen and Kenny. Shout out if you ever see this. They always believed in me, and that's why they put me on so much.
That's cool. That's cool. What's
Yeah.
your favorite part about Brooklyn Mirage?
I think the sound is cool, like playing on like a big sound system and like playing. I think it's cool because like I played one show and I was like elevated on the stage, and they built another stage on the top of that stage. So I was literally like so far up, and
Uh-huh.
like I felt like I was at like a huge concert or something, and like that was fun.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that must have been insane playing to such a huge crowd.
Yeah, always. It's always such a blessing.
Who was the most interesting person you've met from DJing?
Ooh, good question. The most interesting person I've met is probably like the guy who was a feature in my last song. I met him like I guess that doesn't count. I didn't mean I'm at a pizza shop. Never mind. But he's just like a really fun musician friend that I have. Do you mean like do you mean like do you want to know like industry people? Or is that more what you're saying?
We'll do both. We'll do one that you personally found the most interesting, and then the other one will be like an industry person.
Cool. Okay. Um, one that I personally found interesting. Hmm. Honestly, probably my manager. My manager's a very interesting, funny guy. He's like, I think like or any of my music friends, like all my friends pretty much are DJs or make music from DJing. Like I met them at shows. They're all fucking interesting people. I think musicians in general are just interesting. Um, industry person, probably the nicest, most genuine, dope industry person I've ever met is like Hot Since 82. He's like, his name is Daly, and he's just like so down to earth and humble and like talented and sweet. Yeah, probably him.
And did you meet him? I'm guessing out in Miami.
I met him. How the fuck did I meet him? I think I met him actually at Brooklyn Mirage. Because my friend's his tour manager, and then I like traveled and like was with him in Miami and a bunch of other places with friends.
Okay, interesting. And in Brooklyn Mirage, I'm guessing like since you were able to, well, I'm guessing you were able to, at least see the people like the main DJ. Who was like the most interesting main DJ that you've met?
Um, I didn't really talk to any of them. I just
Okay,
like
okay.
I feel like I can't give you a fair answer on that because like I just when I played, they were in their trailer, and when they played, I was like, you know, when we both were able to talk in like the artist village, I think it was just so late. It was like 5 a.m. and like they were just like going home and like so sad.
Okay. It was very brief. It wasn't much.
It was so brief. Yeah, it was so brief. I will say somebody I met who I'm really excited about is this artist, Mr. Kitty. I met him over Instagram only, but like he is like the god in my like world. Like I resonate with his music. I have like 50 of his songs saved. Like I love him. And like my friend introduced us and he DM'd me on Instagram and I was like, oh my God, he DM'd me. And I had like a fangirl moment, which I never have. Like I think everyone's like equal and I think everybody is like talented in their own ways, but there's never somebody I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna put you on this huge fucking pedestal because we're all just human. But with
Uh-huh.
him, I felt like a fucking fangirl. I was like, oh, I couldn't even like pretend I wasn't. I was like, oh my God, like I love everything you do. Like
That's so funny. So how'd you find him?
I found him on Apple Music Radio a couple years ago. Random as fuck. Like Apple Music Radio. I don't even use Apple Music, but yeah, it was really random. And then I just was like, who the fuck is this? I love his music.
Have you thought about doing a collab?
Yeah, one day. He has like 7 million monthly listeners, so I'm not gonna pull that ass quite yet because I mean he's got a big fan base and he's worked really hard. He's been making music since 2012. But I think down the line when I feel like I've earned it, I'll ask him.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, you don't want to use a connection like that until you feel like you're ready as an artist.
Exactly, 100%.
So by the way, I don't think we got the answer to the question for what your vision is now.
Oh yeah, my vision now. I'm gonna close my eyes when I say this because I really want to like be truthful and like in tune. But I'd say my vision now as an artist is to make the music that is 1,000% me. I wouldn't change a thing about it and play it with passion and however that looks. It may look like me singing with a band. It may look like me still DJing it. It may look like a hybrid set of me singing with a band and then breaking out into a DJ set. I've always felt like I was going to do something like that. Like I've always felt, but I have to be really big to be able to pull that off, to have a full band and then DJ. But I think it's possible. I think with the sound I'm going for, it's a mix of electronic and a little rock influence and that synth sound that I love. So I think my vision is to just really captivate that sound and grow it really strongly and grow Bitch House from there.
That's really cool. Your record label is like on the forefront of that vision, you would say.
Yeah, like aesthetic wise, I think that it's post punk. Like it comes from the punk world, and I think EBM is a sick influence, electric body music of mine. It's literally like industrial synth, and it's so fucking cool. And it was big in the '90s, and I didn't even know I wasn't even that cultured in it until recently. Like Um, until I started really listening more deeper into EBM music. And I was like, oh yeah, this is really cool. And there's just like a lot of genres that like are not blown up yet that simply I want to utilize Bitch House for. But I think Bitch House is a representation of the cross genre punk experimental electronic vibe and giving artists like that an actual platform to be heard and perform live rather than just being like, oh, you don't fit in, you sound different. Like, what if it's fucking cool?
Uh-huh. So you don't have like a strict rule on what like
It's got to
type
be
of
unique. That's my thing. It's got to be unique. If it sounds like, it's just got to be unique. It's got to have something to it that's like unique. Because I'm only want to sign people who I feel like are just doing something unique. Because that's how I feel right now. Maybe in like 2 years, I'll be like, no, I kind of want to hear like more of the same thing. But that's just how I feel in this moment.
That's cool. That's cool. And would you say your performance at that the Lower East Side, the Electric
Bowery.
yeah, Electric Bowery. Would you say that was like the first event where you really saw your the fruits of your brand?
Honestly, I think so, yeah. Because I was headlining and it was for my record label and I could do anything I wanted. And I just played what I wanted. And it was amazing. And I felt and everyone resonated. And that was the craziest feeling, knowing that there's music that I love that I really always wanted to play live that I thought I couldn't play live. And then I started to and people fucking vibed with it. Like that was like the craziest feeling. And I remember my manager was like not happy with the event because the sound system was bad, I guess. And you know, I was kind of just like, I remember the day after he called me, he was like, what do you think? How do you think last night went? And I was like, I think it was the best night of my life. But I got what he was coming from because like there was some issues with like the sound engineering and they did start my show late and that like it was so like I get from a managerial standpoint where
Uh-huh.
he was coming from, but from an artist standpoint, I was fucking happy.
That's really cool. No, that reminds me of like the accountant versus the CEO, where it's like
Yeah.
the accountant is like worried about this cost and that cost, but the CEO is like, no, it was worth it.
Yeah, exactly. The CEO was like, no, I know why we're doing this, so it's fine.
Uh-huh. What was your manager's side of the argument? I'm just curious.
He was just like they were unprofessional. They started the show so late. They made people wait. Or they let people in. They should have held the door because we were still doing sound check when they're letting people in. The sound guy had your vocal gain way too loud. It was loud. Like everything was. He's just like technically, I don't want to ever work with these people again. No offense. I hope they never see this video. But I was like, I would do that every weekend.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Yeah, the thing is, I feel like for you especially, being able to go to like a local dive bar and like perform like with your fans, that's like a lot cooler, you know?
Right? Isn't that like better than just like playing a set that like is like more for like the setting of a place and I can't even fully express myself as an artist? Like I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get how this fucking works.
Have you heard of the story of Marshmello playing in the pizza store on
No.
14th? So basically, there on 14th Street Union, there's this pizza spot. I forgot the name, but you know it. It's like it's very obvious. And Marshmello played there on some like completely random, and it was cool for the same reason that it was cool that you performed at Electric Bowery because we're actually there. It's not like you're on some stage that's like high up there, or where there is that disconnect. It's cool. You're the main event, but there is that disconnect versus seeing you live, all right in front of you. Like it's completely different.
Oh my God, 1,000%. And I've met Marshmallow before, like a long time ago. And I remember him saying like he just like people are unfazed by crazy success. Like you talk to an artist who has like fucking a total of like 1 billion streams on Spotify, and they don't think that's cool most of the time. But then if you don't have 1 billion streams, you're like, oh my God, I just want 1 billion streams. Like Lana Del Rey, like she's just like literally like dated a cop and like literally moved to a random town, and she's like, I just want to like I'm a human, guys. Like I think like there's something about people who are influential that people dehumanize them And I don't think a lot of people like that. And I think people are just like, I'm just doing what I like. Like, it's not a huge, like, I think a lot of like people I've talked to in the industry that are like really successful, they don't see, even producers. Like, I have friends that I work with that have produced Lana, that have produced Madonna. And they're like, yeah, like, I'm just making music. Like, I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's only like, I think they don't see things as like as big of wins, but I think it's just humanity. Like, once you do something you want to do, it's like kind of like, okay, cool, you know? Like, I don't know, like I played Mirage and I'm so grateful for that, but I wasn't like, oh my God, like, you know, it's like not like not having gratitude. You should still have gratitude, but it's like it's just life and we should just do what we want.
I feel you. I feel you. Did you feel that way when you were at Marquee as well?
I think my first time, I think it was funny because I used to go there when I was really young, and I used to like see acts I really liked there. So I think, yeah, it was like definitely like a cool experience, you know, being like, oh my God, that's so cool. I used to like look up at that stage and or that booth and be like, oh my God, like that's like so wild, you know?
Yeah, I feel like Marquee is like the one spot. It has so much nostalgia that, going there for the first time feels kind of exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely like my younger self was like, oh my God. Like I used to see like, you know, my favorite acts there. And yeah, I remember I couldn't even get in because I wasn't 21 when I used to go there. And like, I don't know. It's just I think it's all cool. Everything, like whether it's like a warehouse in Brooklyn or even like a mainstream club. I think as long as I'm being like genuine and true to myself, it's all cool.
Is there like do you have like a story for like a show that you went to that was very riveting for you?
Can you elaborate?
Like that like you saw their performance and it was so powerful that it's had an influence on maybe not your sound, but had an influence on you as an artist.
I saw a Nora and Pure show and she played really dark. And it was at Mirage and I was behind her just watching her. And I was like,
What's her name again?
Nora, Nora and
Nora.
Pure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nora and Pierre. I'll have to look her up.
Yeah, she's like pretty big in the like melodic house scene. But yeah, I saw a show of hers and I was like, she was just being so dark and she was so into it. And I was like, oh my God, like I feel that so hard. I would love to do that.
How what was it? It was her intuition, how she was able to like play that
Yeah,
music to
yeah,
the
she was in
sound.
flow. She was in such a good flow state. And I just loved her choices that she made. It was like, yeah, she was like really in it. I was like, yeah, I love that. It's cool.
How do you manage the energy of the crowd as a DJ?
Just being an empath. Yeah. Just like feeling when things are off and then having to transmute it.
So I've noticed that a lot of DJs they talk about like feeling the crowd, but what does that look like for you? Because I'm guessing like in the beginning when you first started, it was different from like now that you've been doing it for a while.
Yeah, it's almost like training that muscle. I think when I started, um, I was kind of like a little bit more paranoid because I couldn't fully tap into my intuition. Like I would do more safe choices to try to like please the crowd. And then it gets to a point where you realize that it's not just the crowd you're pleasing. It's almost like you give them something and then you see how they feel about it. And then maybe they'll pick it up. I take more risks now.
Okay. Do you feel more comfortable taking risks?
100%. Yeah. Even if it's a weird song to mix, I'll still throw it in. Like, you know, it may sound not like the best mix I've ever done, but at least I tried.
And say, would you say usually people like it? Would you say people usually don't like it? And if people don't like it, what do you do? And if people do like it, I'm guessing you continue
So
following them.
there are times where people don't love maybe I went a little too dark. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna bring it back. The point is
Okay.
bring it back. If you can't bring it back and you
Uh-huh.
just it's like, no, that's like narcissism. If you're just like, no, this is what I want to play, they're gonna fucking take it, you know?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah, because when it comes to music, I also have some like music that I like that's kind of dark, and I've noticed most people don't like it. So I that's why I've wondered, since you also have like a lot of
What kind of music do you feel like you like that most people don't like? I'm curious.
specifically like there's like some screamo music that I get why other people don't like it. but
Yeah, heavy metal shit. I can't even get into that. I personally don't love it. I like some rock, but I don't love metal personally. I think it's cool, but
uh-huh. Yeah,
I
yeah. So that's why I feel like when you mention like the dark thing, I totally empathize with that. Most people,
love
it's like their thing, and I get that. I get it's not like the cup of tea. But I'm not a DJ, so thankfully I don't have to like stress about too much having like the best song. But I do like even when I have aux, I want to play something that most people like. But you have to do that on like a grand scale, on the
Yeah,
fly, with like thousands of people potentially.
yeah. You get used to it.
Really, it's just like a muscle memory for you.
Yeah, it really is. You just get used to it and you know what you're doing after a while.
Okay, so tell me about Miami. You said your manager hooked you up with that opportunity.
Yeah. It was really fun. I played the beach stage and the sun was coming down. It was really beautiful.
It was only for like one night in Miami.
I stayed in Miami for a couple days, but yeah, technically it was one night.
What was it? How was that for you as an artist? Was it like the first time you went out traveling to perform?
Um, no, I've performed and traveled before. Yeah. It was fun though. It was exciting. I also realized I just had a thought. I realized I said that would be my last time playing as Georgie, and then I'm booked as Georgie this weekend, which is kind of funny. People probably think I don't know what I'm doing. I just don't think any of this matters right now. So it's like whatever. I can play as Georgie or Bangs, and once the music pops off, then people won't really care about if I've played as two names.
That's true. I just realized you're right. On the Nebula flyer, it does say Georgie.
It totally says Georgie. Yeah,
I mean,
but that's not really a bang show. Like that's not really a bang show. It's more of a house show. So it's really not bang. So I guess it is Georgie. You know? I don't know.
so the next time you have like a bitch house event, it'll be uh Banks headlining.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, it's definitely really cool too that you're performing at Nebula this Saturday because Cat Dealers is actually the first DJs that I saw when I first started promoting.
no way. That's so funny.
Yeah,
Aw.
that was out in Marquee like a year ago. So I know that they performed at Nebula recently again, and this is their second time performing. So it's really cool that you get to like perform with them.
Yeah, I'm excited. It'll be a fun show for sure.
So I remember you said there was this one guy you met on Apple TV that you fangirled over. Is that the only artist that you really look up to, or what?
I would fangirl over Lana Del Rey.
Okay, what's your top three like fangirl artists?
Mr. Kitty, Lana, and Maceo Plex.
That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. I'm guessing Lana come because of the singing aspect, Mr. Kitty because of the music aspect, and the last one, the dark synth aspect, is what you resonate with.
Close. Lana singing, yes. Mr. Kitty because the music, yes, and Maceo more because of his live DJ sets. I love his music too, but yeah,
Is it how he manages the crowd? What's it about him that you really like?
I love his sound, his sound choice. Yeah, I feel like he's played some really iconic sets.
Okay, okay, got it. That makes sense. So, how do you handle requests from fans
How
or
I
patrons in
don't,
general?
I don't play at places where people ask me requests. No way.
You've never had a situation where someone requested you.
Maybe like my first week of DJing, and I literally just looked at them and was like, and looked away.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, I thought it would be like a more common thing because I see so many TikToks of people like with their phones out to DJs. I thought you would get it like all the time.
No, I don't ever. Yeah, like ever.
Okay. I guess, since people like the music, they wouldn't want to change it.
I also think like the places that like the environments I'm playing at, people understand that it's not really like a top 50 like request a song vibe.
Uh-huh. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
And okay, so has the technology changed when you started as a DJ? I'm guessing not, since you started 2020, so the tech has been kind of the same for you.
Yeah, I think sometimes the mixer is different, but I think the equipment got easier to use when I started. It was like getting to that point, but like, some of the equipment was older. I was playing on a lot of older equipment. Now it's rare to play on older equipment. It's only been 2 years, but like I'm telling you, it's so odd, like how it all happens. Like the technology evolves really quickly. So, 6 months from now, it's probably gonna be different again.
Do you feel like there's ever going to be a point where you can just like do it off a laptop and you'll be fine? Or you think we're still a ways? It's still going to take time before we get there.
I saw 100 Gex play off their laptop, so yeah, it's definitely possible. I
That's
love them. I'm not shitting on them at all. I think they're so cool. And I think their music's fucking gold and they're really fucking different, so they can do whatever they want.
uh, I feel like it would be cool if you had like your own band and then you guys went on tour.
Yeah, that'd be really fun. I'll definitely have a band. I don't want to be like in a band though, to the point where it's like I'm in a band and it's called like some one name and we're all like a group. I kind of just want to have like a band play with me, but I still want to have my own projects.
Okay, that's cool. You would rather like do collabs and then work with other artists and do it like that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Okay. And can you share some tips for people that want to be aspiring DJs and that people that just, started out, that want to start out in the industry?
Yeah, if you want to start out, just do it. Take action. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink what people are going to think of you. Um, Play to the sound you want to play. Don't try to cater, because then you're going to end up in the wrong lineups and doing the wrong things. But if you're really just starting out, like really take the time to figure out what the fuck is your vibe. What music do you love? Like, I think that's so important. Like, you can play every genre and like fuck around, but have an open mind. And I don't know. I think like it's just understand that like it may seem unknown, but like there is a legitimate way and path, and it will all come together and make sense if you just keep at it.
I think it's interesting that you don't have like a prescription on what to do. You more recommend on following what feels the best,
Yeah.
because I feel like that's the challenge most people have, since everyone has their like, unique personality. It's hard to like tell someone just do this, because it might not work for that other person.
Well,
But
I could tell them exactly what to do, but like I don't know who I'm talking to and like what they need. Like I think the basic formula is to just start playing the easiest music to get booked for and just make that music too, and start hitting up artists on Instagram and see if you can collab with them. But like maybe that's not genuine. So I don't want to recommend that unless that is what you want. I don't know. I don't know what everybody wants, so it's hard.
uh-huh, that's interesting. Why do you recommend the artist portion, and what type of music would you say works right now?
If the easiest music to do is tech house, the second easiest is probably melodic techno. And I'd say it's the easiest because there's a lot of demand for it. And I'd say there's a lot of bookings.
How are you able to figure that out though?
Just look at all the clubs that book me and what they're playing, what they want, the lineups of the festivals, the DJs who are blowing up the most.
Interesting. I always thought like techno house was big because of Europe. I know in Europe it's like the only thing they listen to.
Yeah, it definitely is. I think Berlin, there's like that heavy industrial peak time techno was influenced from there. A lot of artists come from Europe. But I think if you're in America, it's easier to do house still.
You don't think in Europe they do a lot of house as well?
They do, but I think that just in sakes of if you're in New York trying to be a DJ, it's easier to go the house route.
Interesting. Okay, okay. Have you performed at Somewhere Nowhere before?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Um, it was cool. I played a show with Art Bat there. That was a really fun show. I've played a lot of shows. I played there a bunch of times. Yeah, it's fun. I don't know. They're all fun.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. How'd you go from uh DJing at your friend's party to DJing at, big names like Brooklyn Mirage and Marquee and all these places?
Um, just it's kind of like I started playing and a lot of buzz came from social media. Just like people like, oh, she's DJing, cool, I need a DJ. I think it was a little bit easier when I started because I feel like not as many people were DJing. Like now everyone is DJing. I feel like a couple years ago, and I mean obviously years before that and before that, there was like less and less people trying to be DJs. But I think I kind of came in at a time where it was like we need DJs. We just got out of COVID. All the clubs were starting back up. And I was just kind of like a domino effect. I play one show and then like you build up your resume. Like if you have a job and you work at, say you want to be like a fashion buyer, I don't know. And then you like work at Macy's and then you work at, I don't know, Gucci. Like it's like you climb the ladder. So I think
Uh,
it's the same thing. You play the smaller shows and then people start to see you playing everywhere and then you get booked for the bigger shows.
would you say Brooklyn and Lower East Side was one of the main spots you performed at the most?
I think it was kind of like a balance. I did do a lot of shows in Brooklyn, but I've also done a lot of shows in Manhattan. I don't know. I really would have to like look and like see how many I've actually done in each place to know. I want to say Manhattan was probably slightly larger because at first I was playing like heavily here as well. I don't know. It's a good question.
Interesting. And would you say like your manager helped you get most of those, or your manager only helped you with like say like the big names like Miami?
I think I got myself off the ground and my manager got me a lot of the bigger shows because I got myself off the ground. I think you have to like get yourself off the ground for somebody to help you. But he has helped me with a lot of shows. Like he helped me with my first Mirage show. And what we always say to each other is like, he'll be like, okay. He'll be like, I'm going to open this door for you and you have to keep it open. So
Oh,
that's what we do.
that's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm guessing the first time that you just got started and you want to get yourself off the ground, social media and a lot of local events is the two places that really helped you get yourself a name.
How do you make yourself look? You post all your fucking shows, you make yourself look like that's your fucking life, and then it is your life, and then people book you. I think that's what happened to me.
Okay, okay, that's really interesting. I like that. So, also, what do you think are some of the biggest problems DJs and people in nightlife face? And what do you think are some solutions that can be used for that?
I think the biggest problem is just if you want to be real with you, the biggest problem is when I started DJing, I would play every genre. I became my full-time job. I wasn't going to say no to an opportunity for exposure. Obviously, you have to make a living, and I was just really enjoying myself. But then there were certain shows I wanted to play that were kind of like, oh, you can't play this because you played that. And like they were really the gatekeepers of like sound and like vibe, which I get because they're building a brand and they don't want to mix their brand with other brands. But I think that's a big problem in the DJ world is like people love to throw you in a fucking box, lock you in that box, and never look at you differently.
I thought when you start off and you're playing at all these different venues, you end up playing different music. At least
You
when you.
you do, but then it's like you kind of find a lane, and whatever lane you in, I think the biggest problem is they want to stick you in that lane forever. Like they don't want you to like kind of change your lane.
Uh-huh. And you faced that as a DJ when you started off a lot.
Yeah.
Like people expected you to play the same house, and when you tried to like change to more of like that dark synth, you faced a lot of like resistance.
Yeah, definitely. Exactly.
Uh,
100%.
would you say what got you through that is the fact that you just have a passion for music?
That God and the fact that I'm I'm okay with stepping back. Like I'm okay with like if someone doesn't want to book me, I don't care. Like at all. I'm just like I used to care more if I felt like they were judging my sound. Now I'm just like I just want to play what I want to play when I want to play.
Would you say that came from experience, or was there like a
Time and experience. Like the more you do something, the more you just realize like these some things just don't matter. Like that you used to think were the biggest deals in the world.
okay? What's like one thing, one huge thing that you used to think was the truth, and you realized this is actually this falsehood is the big one of the biggest things holding me back?
That's my favorite question you've ever asked. You're a great interviewer. um, I think it was the formula, the fucking formula. I was like, I am doing this formula. I didn't even know I was doing it. But I was doing it. I was like doing this formula. I was like playing and then fitting in this niche and doing this and whatever. And then I recognized the lane I was in was the wrong fucking lane. And I was like, oh shit. Okay. I'm stuck here. Like I can't get out. Like I can't change now. Like, no, you can always change your vibe. It's good to stick to something once you find your sound for a while at least, but never think it's too late. Like my misconception was like, if I don't make this kind of pop in music, I'm never gonna have a career. And that was bullshit. And I know it's bullshit because people are popping off left and right. I mean, 100 Gex are DJing hyperpop. There's no hyperpop stage, but they're fucking doing it. You know what I mean? Like,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
yeah,
So the thing is, you talk about the formula, but if you're always changing, how do you maintain that formula?
that's the point. You have to abandon the formula.
So the formula is you have to abandon the formula.
The formula is abandon it. The formula is burn the formula and do what you want. And if you are genuinely truthful with yourself and you're making shit that you fucking love, you'll and if 100 Gex followed the formula, they would not be where they are right now. I can promise you that.
Okay,
And I'm just
okay.
using them as the example because they're like they just kind of became more mainstream recently. But like they're still undergroundish. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. Have you thought about ever doing like a Euro tour?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I'll do a tour when my music's fully done out there, probably in like 6 months when it's like I've been releasing all my new songs and I'll go on tour. Maybe sooner.
What are the places you'd want to hit?
Tokyo, Berlin, Istanbul. Yeah, those are my top three.
So I actually went to Istanbul for like only a few days,
How
and
was it?
it was a lot of fun. Their food is amazing. Their food is like my favorite.
Mm,
But I sadly did not get to spend time in the nightlife scene. The next time I go, I really want to check out their nightlife scene. I've heard a lot of good things. I've heard it's really it's more of it's not European, but they've got like their own like twist, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of energy as well.
yep, I've heard about that too. Yeah, I want to go there. That's awesome.
Have you done a tour before, or this is like the first tour you would be doing in 6 months?
I've never done a proper tour. I've DJed in other places other than New York, but it's not like I was on tour.
Uh-huh. And the only other places you said were Miami, but you're gonna do Vegas real soon.
Yeah, in LA and Aspen and a couple other random places I've done.
Have you performed in the West Coast often?
No, only like 5 times.
Okay. What's the vibe out like over there?
It's a little different. I don't know. I think it's not too different from New York. I don't know. I don't really know.
I thought it would be very different because West Coast, New York, the people
It's
like
not as different as you think it would be. I think like music wise, like I play at the same places I play here. I think the people are like, I mean, I don't know. Everyone's different everywhere, but I don't
uh,
know.
do you have like a Cali story that really was special or really was significant for you?
um, yeah, I went there and wrote with my friend. We made a really cool song. That was special. I have some friends that make great music out there.
Was that like a DJ or you guys were outside recording music? I
No,
mean,
it
not
was
a DJ, sorry, a booth.
yeah, it was like a proper session, like in the studio.
Okay, got it. That makes sense. And so, last question: what are some of your favorite memories or experiences from your time as an artist, and how have they shaped your approach to who you are today?
Um, I'd say my favorite memories as an artist are just moments like the Bowery Electric where I could just really, really be myself. I think times I've had at the studio where I'm like a little insecure, like um a year ago I was too scared to like sing on a song, and then now I just sing on everything and sing in front of thousands of people, and those were big breakthrough moments for me. I think like just memories of meeting people and like forming this little family with my manager, and like when I do like not tours, but like when I play out where I played in Mexico, and like my manager, we had like this whole little family. They all showed up to my stage. It was so cute. And like just like getting used to like this weird like nightlife, like that like literally nightlife is like literally nightlife. I mean, hello, I'm on the Nightlife podcast, but like it's literally nightlife. It's a different life. It's not normal. And
Uh-huh.
adapting to that is like a weird but like kind of sentimental thing.
You performed in Mexico?
Cabo on the Groove Cruise.
That must have been insane.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Did you spend time in Mexico as well and performing like there as well, or is it just a cruise you were at?
I performed in Cabo like at a venue, and then I played on the boat as well.
What was that like in Mexico?
It was cool. There was like fireworks. I was playing like a melodic set. It was really, really fun.
Uh-huh. Were the people more festive?
Um, no,
Really? I thought they like partied harder over there for some reason in
I don't know.
Mexico.
I think like everyone was everyone. I think drunk people are drunk people.
That's true. That's true. There's alcohol affects everyone the same at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah,
And
especially at festivals.
uh, and I was surprised that you said that you only sang recently because you sang at my Halloween party.
I did. Yeah, I know. And thank you for having me for that. That was so fun. I feel like I got to play a fun set. And that was one of my, also, that was like a really fun event for me as well. Halloween is very my brand. So I was like,
Uh-huh.
that was like perfect fit. So thank you for that. Seriously, that was so fun. But yeah, no, I mean, I've been singing, like I said, since I was younger, but like I wasn't recording my voice on tracks, if that makes sense. Like I was like at the studio, I'd get like anxious, like recording on a song because like I never really recorded professionally. And like that was like a weird thing for me to kind of get through.
Really? Why were you afraid of recording your voice?
I don't know. It just all seemed like my childhood self was like, oh my God, we're doing this for real. We're really doing this. And it just, yeah, I don't know.
Because you're really good. That's why I'm surprised. You
Oh,
don't have
thank
like
you.
albums. It's kind of funny. I'm not sure if you know this story, but me and my friend, we were supposed to go see you at Electric Bowery, but
No way.
yeah, but long story short, I kind of like made the wrong decision. I thought that you would still be performing by the time we hit Electric Bowery because we were gonna hit this other place, but there was like too much traffic, and by the time we came to Electric Bowery, you left. So my friend was like, "She's really good. I really wanted to see her. Screw you." And I was like,
Oh
"Listen,
my
we're gonna see her again. I promise." And then my boss told me, like, "Hey, we're throwing a party. you have any DJs? And I'm like, if you're gonna perform, then that'd be perfect. And then thankfully you said yes. So that was like the first time I got to like actually see you, since we weren't able to see you the last time. So it was really nice to actually have you perform. That was
Oh
really
my God, that is such a crazy story. That makes me so happy.
uh,
That's yeah, I appreciate the support.
and then you were like killing it. I was like, yo, you were the first DJ that I've ever seen that like sang on stage.
Really?
Yeah.
Aw, that was so fun. That was such a good event.
I always thought there would be more people like DJs that like, performed on stage, whether it be an instrument
I feel
or
the same
singing,
way. It's
but
so weird.
no one does it. I've seen you do it. There's this one couple, they performed at Marquee recently. I forgot their names, but they like sang live. I know Timmy Trumpet, he does his the trumpet live, but no
Yeah.
one else really does live real
It's so
performances.
weird. It's so fucking weird. I'll never understand it.
And I feel like it's so easy to differentiate yourself with that because no one does it.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I think more people should. More people should experiment, you know? Like more people should just be free.
I don't know if it's because they feel like insecure. All I know is it's worth it. You were killing it,
Thank
100%.
you. And thank you
Hopefully,
for having me. I'm so happy. So, I mean, I'm curious, I guess, I'm going to interview you for a second. I do have to go in a minute, but
whatever you want.
what made you start this podcast?
So, I've wanted to make content for a while. Like, remember, it's funny that you were talking about acting. I've done acting, and long story short, I did actually do a commercial years ago on some like it was really random. I was in Times Square. I saw them doing a commercial. I just asked if I could be part of it. They said yes. And then
Awesome.
yeah, I thought it was gonna be free, but long story short, they paid me like 10K.
What? But you
Yeah,
asked if you could be part of it and they paid you 10K.
I mean, I didn't know they were gonna pay me 10K. I just got an email saying, "Hey, we put it on TV. We have to pay you." I was like, "Okay, $200. That's cool." But they after taxes, it was like 10K.
That's
So
crazy.
yeah, and I've always wanted to do like content, and because I'm kind of comfortable in camera, I'm comfortable with talking to people, but I didn't know what I wanted to do that I could do consistently. Because I feel like prank videos, that like gets old eventually, but like various other forms of content where you like talk to people on the street, I could do that, but that gets kind of old too. I
Yeah.
wanted to do something that I could do like consistently, and where I could like meet the most people and also like give value to other people, because I feel like there's a lot of really cool people in the nightlife industry, but there's no information, and people really want to know like what's the background of people like you and other cool DJs. And also like you're the second DJ that I've interviewed. The DJ before I interviewed, like you guys all have a really interesting way of having your own process, and you have your own history, and you have your own style, and I feel like as an artist, like you have to figure out your own style.
Oh,
And
definitely.
I feel like there's not enough real life people like you that where we like get to honestly know how you go, like what your process is like. People just see either you're like a no-name DJ or you're like a famous DJ, and there's like no in between. But being able to see that in between and like hearing your story, not only do I find it interesting, but I feel like a lot of other people also find it interesting. So I decided, since I'm a promoter, like this is like a cool way of getting to know more people without like the distance thing, because I also want to meet people from all over the world, but if I'm in New York and you're in Tokyo, like it's cool to get on a Zoom and chat and have a
Yeah,
conversation.
absolutely. I think that's fucking awesome. I think it's cool that you're doing this. I feel like no one has a podcast where they like interview upcomers like in the city. Like it's really cool.
Yeah, and also within like being an artist, there's so many artists that maybe they're not like Steve Aoki, or they're not like or Logan Paul in terms of like virality or whatever. But there's a lot of content creators, there's a lot of artists, there's a lot of people that are making unique individual stuff, and there needs to be more of a story out there. So I enjoy letting you guys tell your stories and having it be heard.
That's fucking awesome. Yeah, I love that.
So thanks again for joining the Nightlife podcast. Thank you so
Oh my
much. You were amazing. So
God.
everyone give it a round for Georgie or Banks. Um, you wanna tell the people like any shows that you have coming up or any projects you want to work on? I know Bitch House, the brand, is like your main thing right now, but anything you want the people to know.
Yeah, guys. I mean, I'm Georgie's Life on Instagram. And yeah, if you're in New York, I have shows pretty much every weekend. And I post everything on georgie.live, my website. Yeah, go stream Paralyzed. It just came out a couple weeks ago. It's fun. Synth pop. So yeah, just thank you for having me. Truly, it was nice to be able to explain myself and like, I'm excited for your podcast. And when will this be live aired? When does this?
So what's crazy is I had the idea and I've just been like interviewing people. Like you're the second person I've interviewed. I haven't even made the YouTube, Rumble, Instagram yet. I'm gonna do that today. I took off from
Is it
work
going
today.
to Spotify?
I'm gonna put it on everything. I'm gonna put it on Spotify. I'm gonna put it on
Nice.
Rumble. I'm gonna put it on YouTube, and then I'm
Nice.
gonna have like an Instagram and TikTok where I just like post reels of
Dope.
us. So I'll also like send it to you. That way you can check it out in case you want to like edit anything.
Hell
But
yeah.
thank you so much for having for joining, and hopefully we're gonna do like a part 2, and we're gonna have more of these.
Hell yeah. All right. Thank you for having me.
All right, have a good one. Bye bye.
Bye.